Hey guys, welcome back to Urban Rhino Tutorials. On this tutorial, I'm going to show you how to make a wire-wrapped stone ring. So let's begin. Okay, let's begin by looking at the choice of beads here. You can see that I have two that are flatter and then these two which are round. When you choose your beads, you need to consider this size. So for instance, if you chose this bead, while it might look okay if you had it this way on your hand, like that, okay? The holes actually run vertically, so when you end up wrapping the wire around it, it's going to sit this way on your hand. So think about that. So let's set that one off to the side. Then if you look at these two that are really round, this one's pretty, however, kind of run into the same issue. The hole runs through the center here, which then makes the bead sit on your finger like this, which most people don't want. And then with this one, the issue is just the size. Again, the hole runs this way, so you're going to be looking at this, but that's just a really, really big ring when you're finished, so probably don't want to do that. The ideal bead to use is a flat stone like this. Okay, so it's going to give you that kind of shape there. The holes run horizontally through the bead like that, so that's how it's going to sit. So you can see, you know, with the finished product here, this was a round, kind of more oval, flat bead, so it wraps nicely around there. So to begin, you can take one of two things. You can use either a ring mandrel like this if you have one. If you don't, that's fine. Really any object that's round, so I'm going to use this dowel here. If you pick something that is a little bit larger, you can always wrap the wire to end up making the size that you need. So if you don't have this to get the exact size that you want, then you can just use the dowel and that's fine. So for this purpose, I'm going to go ahead and use the ring mandrel. If you have access to one of these, you'll want to make sure that you go 2 sizes bigger than the actual ring size on the finger that you want to be wearing the ring. So if I want to put this on a finger that is a size 6, then I'm going to go with a size 8. So to begin, you're going to start with 20 gauge wire here. Okay. The 20 gauge wire, I'm going to use about 3 feet of it. Give or take, it's completely your preference on how many times you wrap it around the bead. So to begin, you want to slide your bead on halfway. So let's straighten out this wire. And you want to get it so that's about halfway. And I think it helps if you kind of bend the wire at each side of the bead to kind of hold it in place so that it doesn't slip around on you. And then from here, you're going to find the size. So we're going to go with the size 8 because I want this ring to be a size 6 when it's finished. I'm going to rest that bead on there, and the nice thing about using the flat beads is that you can hold it flat against the mandrel, whereas if you have this round bead, it slips all around on you. So I'm going to hold this still. I'm going to take, let's see here, you're going to have a wire sticking out to the right and a wire sticking out to the left. So it doesn't matter which side you start with. I'm going to start with the right side. I'm going to wrap it around. I'm going to turn it this way so I can work with it easier. 1 and then a half time around the mandrel. And I'm going to turn it. And I'm going to go the same way this one with this one. So I'm going to go 1, 2, like that. Okay, so now I have, again, a wire going to your right and a wire going to the left. Pulled tightly, and you can see when you look at the back to make sure that you've done this right, you should have 4 wires that you can see visibly. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so back from the front, what you're going to do, let's get this in place, and this will slip around on you. You just have to keep working with it, pushing it back into position. So hold the wire tight, and you're going to start, again, it doesn't matter which side you start with, and wrap one time around the bead, like that. And then you want to gather the other one and follow it in that same direction. So now I've got both wires together, and just do this to save some time. You can wrap them both at once. And I'm going to wrap this wire around the stone, and I'm going to hold that stone flat while I do this. And as I wrap, I want to make sure that I'm not just making all of the wire tuck underneath the bead. You want it to wrap around the bead, so it's almost cradling that bead. And I'm pulling it really tightly. And if you notice that your bead starts to turn on you, just adjust it back. Okay. And once you get it wrapped as many times as you want, again, this is a matter of preference. Turn this back here. At that point, you've got both of your wires on one side. Take the one that's a little bit longer, pull it over to the other side, like so. Okay. Slide that off the mandrel. Turn your ring over, and you want to hold this still, like this. Okay, and then at this point, you're going to want to take your needle nose pliers. Because this wire is a little more difficult to use, you're going to want to make sure that you have those to pull the wire through. So what I'm going to do now is hold that stone still, and I'm going to slip this wire through the 4 rings of wire here. And you can use these pliers to pull that really tight. And you're going to wrap it around, I always say a minimum of 4 times. If you see that the wire, if you see that the ring is still too big, then you can continue wrapping it a few more times, and that will actually start to bring the size of the ring in. You can go smaller, but you can't go bigger, so think about that. And you want to wrap these in a consistent coil, and you can use your pliers to push those together. It's really important that this is nice and neat. Okay, so once you get it wrapped around the 4 times, take your wire cutters and trim it. And you want to trim it on the outside. If you trim it on the inside, then you're likely to cut your hand when you slide your hand in and out. And then you can take your pliers, again, your needle nose pliers, and just tuck that little piece of wire down. So that's one side. And then let's do the same with this side. Again, wrap it through here. And once you do one of these and you get the hang of it, you can really do them in a matter of minutes. So again, take the pliers and wrap that through. So I've got it 3 times, and we'll go one more time. And so this is the point, the same with on the other side. If you would have stopped and slipped the ring on and realized that it was too small, then you could have continued your coil on. So you can see I'm just using the pliers to squish those together so that they're nice and neat. And again, trim that off. Take your pliers, flatten it down, like that. And all finished.
And that's it for this tutorial. Make sure you give it a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel. Thanks for watching, guys.